I'm Leah Lane, an award-winning travel writer and author of Places I Remember, Tales, Truths, Delights from 100 Countries. On this podcast, we share conversations with travelers about fascinating destinations and memorable experiences around the world. Do you want to know more about yachting? Captain Kerry Titheradge, the charismatic and firm but fair captain on Bravo TV's hit reality series Below Deck, is known for his experience, calm demeanor, and high standards for his crew. On this episode of Places I Remember, we'll be finding out more from him about traveling on the water, favorite destinations, and his newest venture as CEO of Yachting Concepts. Welcome, Captain Kerry, to Places I Remember.
G'day, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm a big fan of Below Deck. In fact, we already talked with Chief Stew Aisha Scott on episode 109. But I want to ask you, how did you get into yachting? And what's your experience on the water besides being on Below Deck?
Oh, boy. So I come from a blue-collar family. All my family are tradespeople. So I was destined to also be a tradesperson. Father's a builder. My granddad's a builder. We have welders in the family. So I decided the path of being an electrician, thinking that my father couldn't know everything about that, but he did as well. I ended up at a certain point in my life where the company I worked for had closed down and I needed to find a job. And I just banged on every door down the street. Can I have a job? I'll do anything. Just show me. And I did a bunch of different jobs. And I ended up working at a full-service gas station.
Really?
And this is back where you're dipping the oil, checking the tire pressure, putting water in the tank there. I was doing that for a bit, and it wasn't going to be my forever job. And a job popped up to be a deckhand on a parasailing boat.
Wow.
I was a very shy kid back in those days. I actually had nice blonde hair, sun-bleached hair.
Really? I never saw that. Nice to know.
Yeah, you flick through my Instagram enough, you'll find some pictures of it. I grew up in the Outback. So, we lived in this coastal town for a couple of years, and I was never destined, I didn't think, to be on the water.
No.
Not in that scope. And I went out and everybody was happy. All the customers wanted to pay. And it was a nice change because when you're an electrician or when you're at the gas station, no one wants to pay you.
Oh.
We went out for an hour. We came back and they said, look, we'll give you a call. Thanks for trying out for the job. And I loved it so much, I kept inventing jobs so I wouldn't leave. So I asked, could I rinse the boat down? They said, yes. Thank you, we'll call you. Can I dry the boat? Thank you, we'll call you. Can I polish the stainless? Thank you. I just wouldn't leave. So that's how I started on boats. The way I got into yachting is I had applied for a job to actually drive a large car ferry in Australia. And little to my knowledge, the owner of that company had a friend in Canada, a fellow Australian, that needed some crew. So where I didn't get the job on the ferry in Brisbane, I got the job in Canada on a yacht.
Oh, wow. And then it all began there.
It all began there. 21 years ago, that was. It was 2004.
Wow. Well, how do you get to be chosen to be a captain on the Bravo series? And how does the rest of the crew get chosen for that?
Well, I guess they had to dig real deep on this one, right?
A little.
It was during COVID when it happened for me. There was a process, a bunch of Zoom interviews. And the funny thing was that it's during COVID, so we never saw each other. And I may have used a filter on Zoom to bring down a few of my fine lines. So when I actually got to Norway, they looked at me twice and like, you look a little different than the Zoom interview.
But you put the hat on, right? Then you look like a cat. Yeah. I guess everyone goes through the same thing, the crew as well. What about the guests? How are they chosen? Do they pay full price? I want to know.
The charter guests, they pay a reduced price of what it would typically cost. Which I don't know the numbers on that because that's not my department. We've got them lining up to come through the door.
I bet. How about tips? They're told what to, the percentage to give you. I know some of them are cheap.
Yeah. I believe there's guidance, on what, because some people come on, they don't know how it works. I mean, most Americans should because that's our society, right? Is that we do that. It's just like anywhere, you go to a nice restaurant and you might have a great meal and the person beside you and that person doesn't sit well and you do. It's one of those things I never count on the tips to be part of my salary. It's just an extra bonus.
Right. I saw one episode where the crew was stiff totally. The only time I saw that happen, which is pretty bad. Anyway, how do the cameras change the way the ship is run? We don't see the cameras. How many of them are around?
Around the vessel, there'll be like GoPros and that around the boat and some static cameras. Then there's actually cameraman and audio people running around, the one-eyed monster. When you hear them coming, something exciting is about to happen because, I just do my job and they leave me alone. When I see them moving in a direction pretty quickly, I tend to go and have a look myself.
Oh, really? That's funny. Where do they sleep? I always wondered, where do they sleep?
Oh, you really want to know what's behind the curtain, huh?
Who do they sleep with? That's tough.
There's multiple crew changes for production, and overnight, there's only one person on board. All the cameras around the place and the microphones, and they have their own little camera bit. That's typically quite late at night. And then the first crew change of the camera crew is early in the morning. So they don't hinder us doing what we need to do.
I would hope not.
I can't say invisible, but you just kind of get used to doing your thing.
I saw one cameraman in one of the episodes help save a person's life. If you remember, when I was very dangerous, one of the crew got caught in a rope and there the wall was broken, and it was very, very exciting and scary.
Yes.
But it ended well. Let's get aspirational here and talk about chartering a yacht if someone wants to do it. What does it entail? How much does it cost typically? What are we talking about? We see these guests come on, but how could one afford this?
I guess some people have got a very good 401k. I don't know. A 160-foot vessel, which is a similar size boat, you're probably going to pay about $250,000, $300,000 per week. And that is just for the yacht. So think of renting a car, all right? When you're in a car, you got to put fuel in it and you got to park it as well. And then on top of that, you got to get your own food. So you got to pay for your restaurants. And when you charter a yacht, you actually pay for the crew food too.
Oh, my goodness.
And then even before that happens, you got to transfer cash to the boat. So there's a percentage. It's called an APA, which is, I can't remember the acronym, but it's like advanced payment. So we have money to go out and get your champagne and all the good things that you want to have. That 1 week trip could quite easily double or triple.
Yeah, and I can see why you want to give them a 5-star experience or a 7-star experience.
Well, I tell my crew that the level that we give, Four Seasons can't touch us. That's what yachting's about. There's no better service out there.
Well, it's fun to watch. I'll keep watching. You said that the easiest part about being a captain is driving the boat. The hard part is the crew. Could you give us a few examples of the worst crew problems you've encountered and how you handled them?
Oh, boy, that's the thing. What we need to think about, right, is you just get regular neighbors who have their own home and space not getting on from the same background. Can you imagine putting different crew from different age groups, from different countries?
Mm-hmm.
So you live, eat, sleep. You can't get away from them. The biggest issues I have with my crew, other than the deckhands being distracted by the stewardesses, and sometimes the other way around, is just crew not meeting eye to eye or people needing particular compassion for where they're at. That's the hardest thing. You don't get to see too much of it in the show, but I really find qualities in people that are very different that each other can appreciate and they can get on.
Right. It's very interesting to watch it, the differences of people, differences below deck, above deck, it's plus the beautiful scenery, since we love travel. You haven't had any terrible guest experiences. I know people jump into the water drunk and stuff like that, but I can't remember in your episodes what.
We had Kelly where I had to call the French police in to get her off the boat. Yeah, she was probably the worst guest. I've never called police to a boat before. Normally, I'm trying to get the police away from the boat because they're being too noisy.
Right. Get them in, right. I remember her drunk, right.
Yes, just a tad.
Just a tad. Now, you were a captain on a spin-off called Below Deck Adventure. That was only one season. I know you enjoy adventure travel. What are some of your favorite personal adventure places and experiences around the world? And
wow.
what do you like to do in adventure?
So I guess the first thing comes to mind is Turkey, and that is the ballooning in Cappadocia.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. It is mind-blowing. Like there's hundreds of balloons in the air at the same time on the sunrise. And then there is the paragliding near Fethiye, which you're what, 2 kilometers? I think you're nearly 2 kilometers up. It's very high. And you're running off a cliff with a guy on your back and just like a wing above your head. So that's the first thing come to mind. On my daily life, here I live in South Florida in Palm Beach Gardens, and I mean today's a little chillier than it has been, but but last week it was 80 in winter in January. And I had this thing called an e-foil, which is like, it looks like kind of like a surfboard, but it has an underwater wing and it comes out of the water. So you glide out of the water.
Wow.
And that is something that I really enjoy doing.
I think I've seen that. You go way high up. Is that the one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, not the jetpack. This is you're about 2 to 3 feet out of the water.
Interesting.
And it's an underwater wing. So you're hydrofoiling.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Boy, lots of stuff out there that I'm learning about through this wonderful podcast. I have to tell you. What about world destinations? You've been around a bit. Any favorites you want to think about right now and tell us if you have a
boy.
couple, maybe?
So
are they coastal or not?
like, when I think exotic, my first thought is Croatia and Dubrovnik.
Yes.
That's just amazing. And then you've got right next door Montenegro, you've got Kotor. I think that's just gorgeous. The coastal areas of Turkey is bedroom all through that area.
Fishermen line up along the harbor and you can rent for the day and everybody can do that. That you can get out on that gorgeous water in a boat there.
It's the Mediterranean and the history is so rich there.
Mm-hmm.
Like people don't realize that, and I didn't realize this, like St. Christopher originated in Turkey.
Yes.
And you can do a tour through there and you can check that out.
You mean Santa Claus?
Yeah, exactly right.
I know that's a good trivia question. I've won on that a few times. He comes
and the Virgin Mary is thought to have been buried there. And there's a place you can go and you can do your thing if that's your faith. And the coolest thing is the ancient city of Troy is in Turkey. So there's so much to see there.
Yeah, I can see you love it there. We have done episodes on Croatia and many of these areas, and I agree with you. It's gorgeous. It's got history. It's got all that coast stuff as well.
Yes.
You're from Australia, so what about Australia? Where would you recommend if people were going to go one time, let's say? What not to miss?
It's such a big country. People don't realize that the landmass isn't that much less than the United States.
Right.
The Great Barrier Reef, I think that's on everybody's list. They have to check that out. Getting into the Outback and get at the red dirt and the whole lot of nothing. For those who don't mind a dabble in a nice glass of wine, the Barossa Valley in South Australia is the top 3.
I like the kangaroos jumping around in the vineyards. I remember staying overnight and waking up to seeing kangaroos jumping among the vines, enjoying the grapes, but they were certainly
the farmers don't like it.
Very cute for me to see it, right? How does being a ship captain convert to corporate management?
It's called Yachting Concepts.
Yeah.
And with Yachting Concepts, I started that venture because all yacht owners want the full experience. There's an area of the market that doesn't get much attention, and that is the new yacht owner under 100 feet. A lot of captains like myself, I've run vessels up to 300 feet. A 60-foot vessel where to that yacht owner is their pride and joy, the class of person they get to take care of it is on their way up. They don't have the same experience level. So we're bringing the experience that I bring to the market to boats with the size of my tenders on some of my yachts.
Right.
And the idea is to guide them through yacht ownership where it's very transparent. Many people think buying the yacht was the expensive part. It's not. It's the maintenance, the plan, it's the crew management, servicing some of the largest yachts in the world.
This sounds great. How long have you been doing this?
I actually created the company when I was filming Adventure.
Oh, really? That's a few years ago.
Yeah. And we've grown from there.
If I ever get a yacht, I know where to go.
Yes, you do.
And I know you. Okay, well, the name of the podcast is Places I Remember. So, Captain Kerry, would you please share a special travel memory with us?
Oh, so just before I gave up yachting, I gave it up for a period of time. I went through a divorce and I needed to be home for my children. It was on a 90-meter yacht in the Maldives.
90 meters is translated to very large feet.
I think it's like 290 feet.
Not small.
And it was a destination that I'd never planned, but I flew across to the Maldives. I flew through the Middle East, and that in itself was just amazing. Like just seeing the culture, like seeing the different religions walking through this beautiful airport and everybody being at peace. To me, that just blew my mind. Yes. Seeing a Muslim lady in the full outfit, and then next to that, seeing a Western woman in heels and a short skirt, and everyone was just cool. And then I get to the Maldives, I got to see those amazing accommodations on the water out in the little piers, and I got to scuba dive in the Maldives.
Overwater bungalow.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was on the yacht, which wasn't a bad thing to be at, but I actually got to see it in person. and dive the pristine waters of the Maldives. It was the whole experience there and back. And then on the way back, I flew through Paris and I was by myself, but I had to go up the Eiffel Tower and everyone's being romantic. So I had to give myself a hug. And then I got back on the plane and I came back to Florida. It was amazing.
How long was this trip in total?
It was only about a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very brief.
So you saw wonderful things of all kinds, the desert, the water, the great city of Paris. It sounds perfect, actually.
Like just now when you asked, it just popped into my head because I've been many places, maybe not as many places as you've been, but I've been all through the Caribbean, through Australia, the Mediterranean. I mean, both coasts of Africa. So many places, it's very hard to pick just one.
It is, but the memories pop up. That's what's so nice. You don't expect them sometimes, and they're there forever. So it's an investment when you travel. It's not just the trip itself.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
I agree. And I'm thinking of that beautiful water in the Maldives. Is the coral still okay? There are few places on Earth where it hasn't been affected by climate change. What about there?
Yeah. The corals take a hit everywhere, you know, just a 1 degree change in the water is affecting the corals. The staghorns are pretty resilient, you know, they grow very fast. When I was there, the Great Barrier Reef, there's sections there that have been climate change issues, and you also got the crown of thorn starfish, just the topography of the water and the marine life. Was it as good as Australia? I'm a little biased, but it was an incredible experience.
It was perfect. It was perfect fun.
Yes.
Oh, that's your memory. Thanks for that. It was a terrific one. So Captain Kerry Titheradge, you've been captain of the yacht, an adventure traveler, and you're now CEO of Yachting Concepts. We enjoyed looking back on your travels, and I'm sure your skills will translate very well from boats to boardrooms in this next phase of your life. Thank you so much for joining us, and bon voyage ahead.
Thanks for having me. It was a fantastic time.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to our award-winning podcast. We've recorded over 100 episodes of Places I Remember, so follow us on any podcast app. And new monthly episodes are also on YouTube with gorgeous video. My book, Places I Remember, is available in print and Kindle, and I read the audio version. Follow my travel writing at Forbes.com. Contact me at the links in the show notes or on my website, placesirememberlealane.com, and keep making your own travel memories.